What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're doing well. So let's start off with some standing checks. Haven't done this in a little bit. NHL standings. Most teams have like 22, 23, 24 games left in the season. You're towards the home stretch in the NHL season. Washington Capitals continue to lead the Eastern Conference. They have 84 points right now. Alex Ovechkin, I think he's 12 goals away from Wayne Gretzky from tying or breaking his amateur record for the all-time goals record in NHL history. Crazy to think. You know, especially since he missed a bunch of games this year, but he looks like he's going to do it. He's closing in. He's really gotten hot as of late since he got back from that injury. Toronto Maple Leafs playing well right now. Second in the East with 74 points. Florida's in third with 73. Tampa's gotten hot. They've won 6 in a row. They're in fourth with 70. Carolina's in fifth with 70 as well. That was also with 70. Games plays Tampa, Carolina, and Devils. So that's why they are placed where they are. Detroit Red Wings have been playing really well. Points in 9 of the last 10. 8 of those have been wins. They're up about 17 in the Eastern Conference right now. And the Columbus Blue Jackets are the last team in the Eastern Conference with 64 points. Ottawa's 2 points out. As are the Rangers, who picked up a win over the Islanders last night. Game before, snuck past the Penguins. Didn't look great, but got past in the game before that. They lost 8-2 to Buffalo. So they were playing them before to the Four Nations. So we'll see what happens. Bruins also have 62 points, also only 2 points out, so very tight in the Eastern Conference. Boston hasn't had a great year. They made a very odd coaching change earlier in the year to get rid of Jim Montgomery. Have played better since then, but still they are 2 points out of a spot as we approach March. Was not what they had in mind. I cannot imagine. And Montreal only 5 points out. It's not impossible. Same thing with Philadelphia, and then the Islanders. The Islanders need to pick a lane. The roster is old, not that good, and their farm system is horrible. Like now, their AHL team plays down the road from where I am right now. They are dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And then Pittsburgh really sucks, and Buffalo is they're the worst team in the East. East is very good. I mean, to be 11 points out of a spot and be the worst team in the conference. It's normally you're a little further out to be the worst team in the conference, but it's still Buffalo. Every year's like, all right, they have a lot of young pieces. It feels like, this is when they're going to put it together, and just for that reason they never do. They have, they have some nice young pieces on both sides of the puck. You have a solid goalie in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, but they have not been able to put it together for whatever reason. They've going to be whatever it is, 14 or 15 straight year missing the playoffs. They're the New York Jets of the NHL, if I've ever seen one. Going to the West, best team in hockey is Winnipeg Jets, 85 points, a commanding lead in the Western Conference. They've won 10 straight games. Had a phenomenal year. Connor Hellebuyck definitely going to win the Vezina this year. Dallas has 76 points. They're in second. Vegas with 74 is in third. Minnesota's in fourth with 72. Seattle also has 72, but they actually have the exact same record as Minnesota, so they're tied for fourth and fifth. Kings are in sixth with 69. Colorado in seventh with 68. They've dealt with injuries all year. Eighth is Calgary with 64. You have Vancouver is a point out. They also traded away JT Miller, the Rangers, a couple of weeks ago, so we'll see if they continue to fall. They haven't fell too far so far. Utah's only 3 points out. Actually been playing decent hockey. Blues are 4 points out. And Anaheim is 7 points out. Anaheim's actually been playing well. They're 7 points out isn't horrible. And then, actually, when I said Seattle earlier, I meant Edmonton. It's my apologies. Seattle is way out of it. They are 10 points out. They have not been playing very well. Then Nashville, I don't know what happened this year. They had a big offseason, blown up in their face. And then Chicago and San Jose are just as dreadful as it gets in this league. NBA standings. Most teams are constant to the NHL. Not a ton of games left. About 25, 26 games left for most of these teams. Eastern Conference. Cleveland Cavaliers sitting at 48-10. Still a command lead in the Eastern Conference. They've won 8 in a row. They're rolling right now. The Cavs I can't really figure out. So, going into the year, they didn't really do anything in the offseason. You make a coaching change, going from J.B. Bickerstaff to Kenny Atkinson, which I do think is an upgrade. He's done a really good job. He should be the coach of the year. He's a really good coach. Never been fired in Brooklyn. He's a very good NBA coach. But they didn't really make any moves. You extend a couple of guys. You extend Donovan Mitchell. Everyone thought he was going to get traded. You extend Garland. You extend Evan Mobley. You kind of ran back the same core that hadn't gotten it done. 2 years ago, lost in the first round to the Knicks. In 5 this past year, sneaks out of the first round against Orlando, but then gets shalumped by Boston in the second round. And you kind of run back the same team. And people were kind of like, this team is probably going to regress with our teams getting better in the Eastern Conference. But and they've gotten a lot better, obviously, which has been a surprise. And look, that team has been great defensively. Donovan Mitchell has had another great year. Darius Garland's been really good. Evan Mobley's been really good. You got other pieces like Jared Allen, and then you got some other role guys, whether it's Max Strus or whoever else, Jordan Niang. I have a hard time seeing him go on a deep playoff run. I don't know why. At times, I kind of think they could be like the Hawks in 2014, where they had their entire starting lineup, made the All-Star team, and they won like 60 games. They won the Eastern Conference in the regular season, and then they lost in the conference semis to Cleveland. It kind of screams that. They have not matched well. I mean, they've beaten the Knicks, no problem. But I'll get to the Knicks shortly as to why I think that is. Boston, they haven't matched up with super well. They beat them earlier in the year. But Boston was also banged up in that game. The other 2 times, they look pretty overmatched. And Boston's also, defending champs and should be favored to probably win the championship again this year. So it's not like, they're a bunch of scrubs. But I don't know. But they're a great team, at least right now. Boston second with 42-16. Knicks 37-20. I hate to say it, but the Knicks are definitely pretenders. They are very much so pretenders. They just aren't good enough defensively. Their bench is very thin. It's basically just Deuce McBride, Shannon, who's just like an okay shooter to have on the bench. Campaign's like an average backup guard. And you have 2 big on the bench behind Towns. Ariel Hoop-Pori, who's a rookie, late round pick, who's actually been playing well. He's been very good defensively, but it doesn't give you anything offensively. Percy Achiuwa's been playing better, but overall has not been good this year, so there's not great defensively. I get you brought in you swap out Hartenstein for Karl-Anthony Towns at a center position, you were going to get worse defensively. I get it. But on top of the fact that he's actually been better defensively than we all thought, you also have a full year of OG Anunoby, and you trade for Mikal Bridges, and you somehow got worse defensively. That's a little concerning. They are getting Mitch Robinson back. Looks like in the coming days and weeks. Looks like he's going to be coming back very soon, which is good. Never a fan of him. He's a little annoying on social media, and he's always hurt. He's frustrating, but when healthy, he does have value on the bench, or I don't know if they want to run double big of him and Karl-Anthony Towns. He's a great shot blocker, really good rebounder. Obviously, is a liability offensively, and is maybe the worst shooter I've ever seen. But he can play defense. And he can grab boards and block shots. He can bring value to a team on the bench as number 2 center. Maybe if you were to put him in the starting lineup, maybe you move Karl-Anthony Towns to the 4, you move Josh Hart to the bench. Your bench is a little deeper. Maybe that'll help. But right now, they're 0-7 against Cleveland, OKC, and Boston. They've gotten annihilated by Boston every time out there. They were a little closer this time, but still lost by like 13. It wasn't for that big third quarter, would win by like 30. You've gotten outscored like 65 by Boston in 3 meetings. You've gotten annihilated by Cleveland every time you've played them. You've gotten annihilated by the OKC Thunder every time you've played them. So everyone else they've been able to handle, whether it's Milwaukee or Indiana or whoever else. But they're gonna have to, the top three is gonna be Cleveland, Boston, and the Knicks. So they're gonna have to face Boston in the conference semis. And from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like that series is going to go very well. From what we've seen, because they haven't beaten Boston in 2 years. Or it hasn't gotten that close either. The closest they got was opening night last year was a close game, but other than that, they haven't gotten close. Indiana's in 4th. They're a good team. They're just, they don't have a ton of bench. Not great defensively. Although they've played a lot better since that really bad start. Halliburton's played better for sure. But I don't see them going past the conference semis this year. 5th is Milwaukee. They're 32-25. They are a half game out of 4th. They're a good team. Giannis is a great player. Dame's a great player, but the rest of the team is a lot to be desired. Kyle Kuzma isn't anything special. I didn't think that was a great trade to trade Middleton for Kyle Kuzma. And just they're not good defensively. They're very thin. Doc Rivers is not a good coach. Detroit Pistons have won 7 games in a row. The 6th best team in the Eastern Conference right now. They're playing good basketball. Cade Cunningham had a phenomenal year. He's averaging like 25, 6 and 9 this year. He's been phenomenal. Career year, he's turned into a great player. And Jaden Ivey's been out for a while as well. Jalen Duren's been playing really well. They're big. They've been playing some good basketball. So kudos to them. Kudos to J.B. Bickerstaff. Didn't really work out in Cleveland, but he's done a good job in Detroit. Orlando's the first playing team. But the East is so bad. Orlando Magic are 2 games under 500. They're the first playing team. and they're only 4 games out of a 6 spot in the Eastern Conference. They've had injuries all year. Boncar and Franz Wagner both missed a lot of time this year. That's where we hurt them. And KCP hasn't played well either. Atlanta's the second playing team, and they're 4 games under 500. They've been a little better than I thought. I thought they'd really fall off if they traded away Deontay Murray and got nothing back in return, really. But Trey's played great, and they're hanging in. It looks like they'll be a playing team again. Miami has been struggling. You trade away Jimmy Butler. That's kind of bound to happen. Don't really have a ton of scoring prowess over there. And the Bulls were 23-35. They're the last team in right now. The Brooklyn Nets are a half game out of the plan. This shows you how bad the Eastern Conference is. When the Brooklyn Nets and that just god-awful team I'll make the plan. The Sixers are 2.5 games out of the plan. As bad as the Eastern Conference and the Philadelphia 76ers are 2.5 games out of the plan. They have lost 8 games in a row. I think like 18 of 23 or 17 of 22. And they need to stick a fork in the season. Shut down Joel Embiid. His knee is not right. Look, Embiid, I can't stand the guy. He's an asshole. He's overrated as hell. He's very annoying, but stick a fork in it. Shut down Paul George. God, that signing is going to age poorly. Jared McCain's already out for the year. It's just Tyrese Maxey. Shut these guys down at this point. I'm not for, resting guys, and, these guys make so much money they should be able to play every single night. If they're healthy enough to be out there, don't want to hear complaints about injuries, but you just signed Joel Embiid to a 3-year extension for a crap ton of money. You just gave Paul George a $200 million deal. He's got 3 years left after this. This year has been an utter disaster and a complete embarrassment. One of the biggest embarrassments we've seen in the NBA in a little while. They're not as bad like the Lakers when they had Russ, or the Nets disaster, or the Suns disaster. But it's up there, at least in the last 15 years. But this season is a disaster. Even if you finally want to get into the play, you're going to get shellacked by Cleveland or Boston in the first round, even if you get out of the play. And I don't even see that happening. I don't think they make the play. And if they do, as a 9 or 10, they might lose to the Magic or the Hawks or somebody. So, don't see it. Their season is done. You have Toronto, who's just not good. They dealt with injuries. They're a very young team. Charlotte sucks, and Washington Wizards, they're 10-47. I mean, look at the roster. There's nothing there that's interesting whatsoever. In the Western Conference, Thunder still leading the West. They are 8.5 games clear, actually. 46-11. They are rolling. Memphis Grizzlies are in second in the Eastern Conference. They're playing some good basketball. Actually, you're actually tied with Denver right now. And fourth was the Lakers. Obviously, you got Luka. Luka 19, 15, and 12 last night to beat the Mavericks in his return. Some trash talk on the bench who's, staring at Nico Harrison at one point. Kind of what we expected. Rockets are in fifth, 36-22. They're a good team for sure. Obviously, they're a lot better. They're great defensively. They probably don't have enough offense or enough experience to win a playoff series. Clippers are the 6th seed. Well, they've held something better than I thought, considering Kawhi missed a lot of time earlier in the year. But that team is old and not nearly as good as it once was. First playing team is Minnesota. They've been without Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo for a while. Looks like they're getting those 2 guys back. They got to have Anthony Edwards because they've been suffering without those 2 guys. So that's a good sign. Golden State is in the 8th seed. They've been playing a lot better since they got Jimmy Butler. They're now the 8th seed. They are only a half game out of 6. It was good. I mean, that's a good team. Steph Curry is still a great player. You add Jimmy Butler. You have some other pieces here like Kuminga, Podziemski, Kevon Looney down low. But I still don't see this team winning a championship. Maybe next year you make an adjustment or 2. Maybe you put yourself in that conversation. But the West is loaded. Okay, he's going to be great for a long time. Denver isn't going anywhere. The Lakers, we're not sure what's going to happen with LeBron next year. We're assuming he plays for the Lakers. But if LeBron, Luka, ask some of these role players, they get a big man. They should at least be a good team next year. The Rockets and Memphis are teams that should only get better. Minnesota could be better next year. So I don't know. The Spurs, I think, will be a good team next year if they're healthy. So it's rough. In the Western Conference, and also Golden State also is much older, obviously. Steph's still a great player, but he's at the end. Draymond's at the end. Butler is going to be 36 next year, so they're a much older squad as well. Dallas is the 9th seed. I mean, they have no big for now. Anthony Davis, so Derek Lively, and Dan McGaffrey are all out. Going to be out for another few weeks. They have no bigs right now. It's hard to see them doing much, and just besides Kyrie Irving, it's just Klay Thompson and maybe PJ Washington. There isn't a whole lot else there. With after that, just historically bad Luka trade. And the Kings are the last team in right now at 29-28. Their potential, if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be the 7th seed. Shows you how bad the East is, how much better the West is. Phoenix is the first playing team out. 2.5 games out. There's no saving this team. Devin Booker's great. Durant's great. But Durant's getting older. Bradley Beal is just he's just done. There really isn't a whole lot else there. I don't even know if they have a point guard on their roster or a big man for that matter. At least no one that's good. And then Portland, they're playing a little better. I mean, 4-0 comes out of the plane isn't the worst, but still very good. Spurs have fallen apart since losing Wembanyama. That was kind of I think we all expect that to happen. They will probably miss the play-in this year. Unfortunately, next year will probably be more so the year. The Pelicans are horrible. Not sure what they're even doing, and Utah is the worst team in the Western Conference. Let's talk some wrestling. Elimination Chamber is this weekend. Let's recap SmackDown from this past week on Friday. We had Drew McIntyre against Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso rolls him up and steals a victory, but then after the fact, McIntyre attacked him. Maybe these two will fight at WrestleMania. I think it's what they're building towards. We shall see what happens. He had the Miz and Carmelo Hayes, and kind of like surprisingly decided to team up. Mellow Don't Miz, what Miz is calling it, which I kind of dig the tag team. It's kind of funny, those two together. And then R-Truth, being the comedic relief that he is, probably the greatest comedic relief in the company's history. He was like, oh, because they were in Louisiana. He said, Louisiana's own Louisiana Night, LA Knight. R-Truth got a little confused, but he picked LA Knight, and but the Miz and Hayes do pick up the win though. In that time much, he had Nakamura appeared. Just like decided to just show up. Please, when I beat him for the U.S. title, his reign has been brutally bad. Tiffany Stratton against Candice LeRae. Tiffany Stratton picked up the win, but then she was attacked afterwards by Nia Jackson LeRae, and then Charlotte came out and kind of added insult to injury. Of course, they're fighting at WrestleMania for the Women's WWE Championship. Then The Rock and Cody Rhodes had a segment. So The Rock comes out. He starts singing, and then he was talking with the fans. Then he said they all had STDs. Then he calls out Cody Rhodes. And he was saying that Cody, ever since WrestleMania, we became friends. Our moms became friends. He showed a picture. And then he was like, I do want, something I want from you. He's like, you're a great champion. I want you to be my champion. Cody, along with the rest of us, was like, what do you mean by that? And after The Rock turned heel probably six other times throughout the promo, then turned face and heel again, Cody goes, so you want my title? And then he goes, no, my brother, I want your soul, which left Cody very confused, left the rest of the WWE Universe very confused. So they're going to have a segment on Elimination Chamber. That's going to be really exciting. Can't wait for that. DIY against Pretty Deadly in a tag team championship match. Ends up the Motor City Machine Guns and Street Profits get involved and ends up in disqualification. I'll see if that builds towards WrestleMania. In a tag match, it was Damian Priest and Braun Strowman against Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Supposed to be a 6-man tag also involving Cody Rhodes. But I'll start off the show, and Nick Aldis pulled him from the match because The Rock wanted to talk to him. And Damian Priest and Braun pick up the win. Fatu accidentally super kicked Solo Sikoa. And this is the week after Solo accidentally cost Jacob Fatu his match in Fatu. So, if this wasn't an accident, because remember, Solo kicked, he hit the spike on Tomatonga on accident. He's like, this would go down very differently. I'm not sure if you guys noticed, Fatu didn't look that upset when he kicked Solo Sikoa. That WrestleMania match, which is definitely going to happen. That's going to be incredible. And then The Rock did a little press conference afterwards. It was kind of a Rock PR piece. I didn't care much for it, to be honest. But moving on, Monday Night Raw from 2 days ago started off with Logan Paul coming out, cutting a promo. Then CM Punk came out. That was a really good promo. CM Punk killed it as always, as he does on the mic. Elimination Chamber is going to be great. And a triple threat match, Penta against Pete Dunne against Luba Kaiser. Luba Kaiser steals the match. That was a great match. He's got three really talented wrestlers. Penta's been incredible since coming over. Luba Kaiser's on a great run. I like Pete Dunne a lot. That was a really good match. Those three are having a really nice mid-card rivalry. And Jackie Robinson did an interview with Rhea Ripley, and then, of course, Io Sky got involved. They're fighting a day after the Chamber for the Women's World title. That's very interesting. I could see her. I think Rhea will fight her at WrestleMania, probably in a triple threat. I do think that's what will happen. I do think it will happen. We'll see what happens now. The LWL, or what's left of it, it's Joaquin Wilde and his other little friend against the New Day, and the New Day picks up the win. It's I think it was a Cruz Del Toro is the other guy. Yeah, I don't. Guy on station just end the LWL. It's gotten too far. Then Gunther came out and said that he handpicked somebody. He handpicked Tozawa, and he told Tozawa, he told Tozawa making respect. He started pushing him, and then the match starts. And Tozawa got a little bit of offense in at the start and throughout the match, but Gunther squashed him for the most part. Then he went after him after the match. Then Otis went after Gunther. He had him in a chokehold, but then Jey Uso came out to save the day. And then Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria against Dakota Kai. Lyra retains. That was a decent match. Pretty good match. But Lyra Valkyria retains the title. But then Ivy Nile attacked her afterwards. And then cut a promo afterwards saying she's definitely coming after the championship. I thought she should have beat Dakota Kai, honestly, and fought Lyra. But I do think this sets up their feud, which should be exciting. Hopefully, it ends with Ivy winning the championship. Let's look at the direction that it's going. Braun Breaker against Dom Mysterio, and then no contest. Justin got involved, and then he saw Braun spear the life out of Carlito, and then that shot with Finn Balor at the end was awesome. They gotta have Finn go on a singles run and make him be the Demon again. It's just time. And then Cody Rhodes responds to Rock, and Seth Rollins came out. That was an incredible promo between those two. They bring up old stuff as they did. That was awesome. And women's tag title match, Bianca Belair and Naomi defending against Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Liv and Raquel win with the help of Dom Mysterio. That was a great match. Definitely the match of the night. And that's Monday Night Raw. And let's move on to my NFL offseason series. So Kansas City Chiefs are the first team up. We're going through most of the AFC West today. First team up is the Chiefs. So obviously losing the Super Bowl to three-peat didn't quite happen. And now the Chiefs have to have some things to figure out. So first off, on the offensive side of the ball, first of all, they got to scratch up some more cap space. Only about $3 million in cap space if they move around the money for Pat Mahomes, Chris Jones. They can save a lot of money. I think they should do that. And then I do think there are some things they need to take care of. Also, Juwan Taylor should do the same thing for as well. So starting on the offensive line, they had some issues at tackles here. Juwan Taylor is a pretty good lineman, especially in pass protection, but he's a penalty machine. 17 penalties this past year. However, you're paying him a lot of money. You're stuck with him. And when he's disciplined, he's a pretty good lineman. On the left side, Kingsley Sumatila, whatever his name is, he's been dreadful to being a second-round pick 2 years ago. You got to get an upgrade over him. So I think they should go out and do that. I think Cornelius Lucas would be a nice addition. He had a good year in Washington this year. I think that would be a guy that they should add to kind of shore up any concerns they have with the offensive line. The O-line's been one of the main reasons why they've lost the 2 Super Bowls that they have against Tampa a few years ago than this past year against the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's something they should do. I also think they need one more receiver. I like Xavier Worthy. They're getting Rasheed Rice back next year, but Diop's a free agent. I think they need one more weapon for Pat Mahomes. I mean, Pat Mahomes can win with anybody, but I think Amari Cooper makes a lot of sense here. He's not the same. He's going to be 31 next year. He was not great for the Bills after getting traded there. He's not the same player. He's past his prime, but as a 3 with Pat Mahomes as quarterback, you could do worse. I think the serviceable 3, get him on a 1-year deal. He'll probably get around the same contract that DeAndre Hopkins will get. And I think Amari's probably a slightly better player than D-Hop at this point in their career, so I think that makes a lot of sense. Amari Cooper to the Kansas City Chiefs. I've made a couple of moves on the defensive side of the ball as well. First off, they're probably going to lose a couple of pieces. They're going to probably lose Charles Omenihu, who's a rotational pass rusher for them. So I think Preston Smith would make sense for them to bring in. You have a lot of nice pieces on my D-line. George Karlaftis is very good. Obviously, Chris Jones in the middle. But I think they could use one more piece with Omenihu to set the lead. Preston Smith's a little older past his prime, but still a solid rotational pass rusher. Was in Pittsburgh this past year. Bring him in on a 1-year deal. And then they're probably going to lose Nick Bolton in the middle of that defense. That's going to hurt. He's a very good linebacker. I think Bobby Wagner could make sense here. He's a guy at this point in his career. He's kind of ring chasing. He did win a Super Bowl with the Seahawks back in 2013, but he's kind of bounced around. He was in Washington this past year. Still a good player, although he's at the back end of his career. Chiefs can probably get him on the 1-year deal and bring him in. So that's what I would do for the Chiefs. You shore up the O-line, shore up the receiving core concerns, especially with all the energy out of this past year, and then shore up the defensive side of the ball as well. Moving on to the Los Angeles Chargers. So they have a lot of cap space, though I do think they're going to cut Joey Bosa. They can save like $25 million in cap space. He's always hurt. He's not the same player. Now 29. He hasn't been a factor the last few years. I think it is time for them to do that. So there are two glaring needs on this roster. First off is wide receiver. They need definitely a big time receiver for Justin Herbert. They may be able to get that in the draft. They can get like a really good number 2 receiver like a Emeka Ibuka or a Matthew Golden. I'm not sure if they can get a 1 though. So I think they should go out and sign Chris Godwin. Probably want to spend a lot of money on a guy who's getting a little bit older and does have injury history, coming off of the season getting injured this past year. But before he got hurt, he was balling. He's still a great receiver when he's healthy. Might cost you like 3 years, $70 million, which is a lot of money. But he's worth it. Get that for Herbert. You will be in really good shape. And also, pass rush is also a concern because Khalil Mack is a free agent. I think Trey Bosa's getting let go. So, go out and sign Jarran Reed. Getting a little older. He's in his second stint with Seattle, but he's still a good player. Can still get to the quarterback. He can pass rush off the edge or from the defensive tackle spot. I think that gives you a really nice versatile piece on the D-line for Jesse Minter's defense. And I think we'll have a lot of fun with that. Bring in Jesse Minter. And then I also think they should prioritize tight end as well. Jim Harbaugh has done some nice things with tight ends throughout his career as a coach. Juwan Johnson had a good year last year with the Saints, had 50 catches. You give him a much better quarterback situation. I think he could break out. Go and sign him. I think he will get paid a decent amount compared to what people think. Probably like a 3-year deal. I think he'll get a nice multi-year deal, but I would bring him in as well. So that's what I would do if I was the Los Angeles Chargers. And the Denver Broncos. Denver's an intriguing team. They have a lot of cap space. They have a young team that surprisingly made the playoffs this past year. But you got to have the Bo Nix. I have 3 moves that I think they should make. I don't think they should do anything major. They have a nice young core here. The first move I had them making is signing KJ Osborne. You probably get him for cheap. He was a non-factor last year between the Patriots and I think the Chargers or something like that. Only had like 8 catches all year. The year before that, he had like back-to-back years where we had at least, I think, 55 or 60 catches. He's proven if he's in the right situation, he can be a solid third receiver. I think with better quarterback play, he can go back to that. Get him on a cheap deal to give another weapon to Bo Nix. Also, Deron Smith, I think, would be a smart signing for them. It has been a huge factor in Miami the last couple of years. 2 years ago, had 33 catches. This past year, kind of fell out of favor. You know, lost the starting tight end job pretty early. Only ended up with like 8 or 9 catches. But Sean Payton loves tight ends. You get Bo Nix to Sean Payton, a tight end. Maybe Sean Payton can work his magic. I think Sean Payton will try and do that. On the other side of the ball, they're probably going to lose DJ Jones in free agency. You have a lot of suitors, very good defensive tackle. The defense is really good, but to replace him, John Jenkins is a really good run stuffer. A little bit older, but you can probably get him on a short-term deal. Not a ton of money. He's not much of a pass rusher, but you have enough pass rush there. The love league in sacks this past year. Get a guy who can stuff the run. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.